Yes, good night, good night. Welcome again to another episode of Fortress Fitness Lifestyle Podcast, where we talk to some amazing guests actually, from doctors, nutritionists, to people with stories. And thanks again for all the supporters who have been supporting the brand for the last year and at least 3 months. Just want to say thank you, and we have a lot of things coming up for 2025. Now, tonight, we have an amazing guest, right? Her name is Renee Chantal, and I'm not going to say, you know, nothing else. I just want to bring her on stage so all it better tune in to hear what we're going to talk about. And I giving all I know tips or no kind of like nothing, right? So Renee, good night, good night, good night.
Good night, Victor. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast on this platform, and is this platform speak of health, wellness, adversity, where people get over adversity. It speak of avenues where people can improve their health. We also have the means and ways for people to get healthy, but most importantly, we motivate and try to inspire people with stories, with anything that can enhance people's life. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Wonderful initiative.
So Miss Renee, so you can at least tell us, like the viewers, who you are and any other thing that you think we need to know before we kick it off and start rapping. Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know about me? Renee Chantel. I am 37, although I
Well,
don't get it.
well, I didn't
Right?
really, yeah.
Yeah. Working mother of one, as you said, been through adversities, overcame, and I am able to today live a normal life and be in life and enjoy life at this point in time, when at times many may have thought that I may not have been here.
Wow.
So
That's
grateful to God for that.
well, thank God for that. Whatever it was, is not there anymore, and
Mhm.
you may not look, as you said, as the age that you mentioned there. You don't look that, I'm sure, but you have a big spirit within you to overcome whatever you overcame before, and I guess we will go through that, have that discussion now. But Renee, what I want to find out from you is that you know I know for a fact that you exercise and do what do and all those kind of thing. And what made you, before we talk about the adversity that you've been through, how long you have been exercising, or did you start it before or after whatever you went through?
No, I've been working out since I'm about 15 years old. Uh,
Oh,
Home workouts, gym. The ladies in my family, especially my mom, God rest her soul, uh, would have been into fitness. My mom was always a gymmer, and when I saw her doing it, um, I decided to try, and it's something that stayed with me from ever since.
oh, so you have it in your blood then.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh,
My father was also an aerobics instructor when I was younger.
oh,
So it's on
wow.
both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't escape.
No, got both of them taking good care of themselves and keeping fit. And I also maintained that when I was of age, as I said, as young as 15, I started doing, little things at home. And then I entered the gym and stayed with it.
That's nice. So tell us, Renee, what I know you have a story to tell us that I can't really wait to hear, because I know it will inspire so many people, and
Right.
it may inspire. So by all means, you can start and let us know what was the challenge that you overcome, and you're so grateful for, to and give God grace and give thanks, and give yourself resilience for making it through.
Right. So, as I said, I can't really say a gymmer, but I am into fitness. I do a lot of home workouts. I usually purchase programs and I'm disciplined enough. that I work out, let's say 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes it may go up to 4. And, that really helped me when it came to my illness. So back in 2019, I was experiencing a cough for a very long time. It started actually in late 2018, and we couldn't figure out where it came from. It was just this cough, right? I wasn't sick. Nothing else was happening, but there was a cough. And it turned into me having a pain on my upper right side, and it extended to the middle of my back. So at the point in time, I was coaxed, or rather threatened, to go to the hospital to find out what it was, because I had actually played mass a week before. The pain started to increase after I came home from Carnival Tuesday. Now, I was on the road, which at the time I didn't know was a danger to me, right? I was running ahead of the band to go and find the rest stop because I was just feeling such pain on my right side. It was my upper right torso to the back, and then it extended to the back, sorry. So going to find a good spot at the rest stop to lay out a blanket and be able to lie down, and this pain is so bad, and we didn't know what it was. So when I was coaxed to go into the emergency room, the doctor that came in to examine me pressed down on my stomach, and I shouted at him, like literally, like, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" And he said, "This is not normal for a cough for you to be having this pain, so I'm sending you to do further testing," which were CT scans and ultrasounds, etc. And when the results came back, they saw a mass on my liver, right? So at the point in time, I was so young. I was working out to the point where I had a literal six-pack. I was in my legs and everything like that. So, just looking at me, you would think that I was the picture of health.
Yeah.
But there was something there that I didn't know about that was causing problems. So upon further investigation, I was passed over to a professor of medicine in hepatic medicine, which means dealing with the liver and pancreas and all of that. It has a big long name, but I can't remember it right now. But he would have looked at the scans and immediately told me that I needed to stop all activity. I needed to not so much as like bump into anything, because it could be to my detriment. What it turned out to be was something called a hepatic hemangioma. Now, It's a weird name.
Yes, it is.
So what it is a mass that covers a particular area in the body. Because it covered almost 50% of my liver, it's not exactly like a hard tumor. It's very, very soft, and the walls of it are very thin. So when that attaches itself to an organ, especially a vital organ, it attaches itself to the blood vessels in that organ as well. So if it had ruptured, it means then that my liver would have been bleeding out. And I don't know if you all know, but next to or after your heart, your liver is the organ in the body that pumps the second highest volume of blood through your body. So if that were to rupture, I was told it would be fatal. Not could be.
Would be.
It would be.
Yeah, wow.
So, yeah. Following that, he went on to explain to me, how many risks there were with the surgery, because it was supposed to have been 2 keyhole surgery, just with the tiny instruments going in with the camera and stuff like that. But he said, there is a possibility if something happens, it may end up being open surgery. I said, okay. He said, and that kind of poses a bigger risk to you. I said, okay. He said, and then I have to tell you this as well. In examining your scan, one of the major arteries that is supposed to be there leading to your liver isn't there. So
it's not there?
It wasn't there. So there's supposed to be one on the left and one on the right.
Yeah.
Pumping the blood through your liver. I didn't have the one on the left. And we never knew that because I had no reason to want to scan my liver. So I don't know that there's a missing artery there. So he says, I have to tell you that lowers your survival rate through the surgery significantly. But it's not a surgery that you can get away from. So we're going to have to do it eventually. The mass needs to come off of there because if it ruptures at any point in time, it's going to be fatal. Right? So we had to go through with the surgery. I was supposed to have gotten 8 pints of blood to be able to enter into surgery, just in case it turned out to be open surgery where they have to make an actual incision and go in, you lose a lot more blood. I did not get the 8 pints of blood because there was a shortage of blood in the country, in the entirety of Trinidad and Tobago. There was a shortage at the point in time. So that, posed an even bigger threat to surviving after surgery. So he had to use a machine to give me a blood transfusion during surgery. The thing about it is, it did not end up being the laparoscopic surgery that it was supposed to be. Because, remember I told you, he told me, if this thing ruptures, it is going to be fatal.
Yeah.
They entered into my body with the laparoscopic surgery and found that I had already been bleeding.
Serious?
It was already ruptured.
Whoa.
So I like to say, not that I like to say, I know God has me here today from lowered chances with a missing artery that is supposed to be there in everybody's liver. That was a birth defect that I never knew I had, to not getting the blood that I was supposed to have gotten, to now turning out to be that this thing was ruptured all along. And we didn't know, right? So that led me into having to go into ICU. As a normal part of this type of surgery, you have to be supported in the intensive care unit afterwards because you go through liver failure. And my liver completely failed, my entire body turned yellow, and, the whole works. But I was able to exit the ICU and start walking and everything like that. And, in conversations with my doctor, following that whole ordeal, he said, Renee, you had 2 things on your side. Even though I told you that a lot of your chances would have been lowered with doing this surgery. The first thing was your age, because I was still young. I think at that time, I was his youngest patient to have been found with a hepatic hemangioma to be operated on. And number 2, your fitness level at the point in time kind of saved you because your body was able to bounce back. Your body was very resilient. He said the type of surgery that you went through is equivalent to if 5 people were traveling in one vehicle, they get into an accident, you alone were sitting in the middle in the back seat, and you alone survived.
Hmm.
That's what this type of surgery does to your body,
Hmm.
right? After open heart surgery, it is the most major surgery that you can have. And you were able to recover because your body was in good shape at the point in time to be able to handle what happened to it.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah, well, I had to take a breath first before I say anything, right? Because first of all, let's start with that blood vessel that is not there.
yeah,
Uh, all right. So every well, normal human being would have two going to that particular liver
okay. Hmm.
organ, right? You have
Hmm.
one,
Yeah,
and I guess the good God made us with two for a reason, yes.
yeah,
So so he made you extra special because you need one.
yeah, if you'd like to call it that.
Well, I try to just call you it, right? And
Yeah,
so he
you
said, you
made
know
me
what?
extra special.
I guess we could you could laugh now, or we could probably but it's
Yeah,
not
of course.
it's not a lightly thing, and
Yeah,
it's still wrong my head to know that hey, most the human body whereby we have two others, everything come in pairs apart from
yeah,
fingers, right? So it's like okay, but you were normal and make it even better or worse. I don't know. You were gymming, exercising, and you wasn't getting anything was happening negative to feel it was normal. I'm talking about with the one artery or whatever you
yeah,
want to call it, right? So that
yeah,
was so that was by itself, and then uh, the circumstances of what you mentioned there. When I spoke to you before, and even now you mentioned, it's by the grace of God that you're here, and I can see why you're saying that based on all that happened,
yeah.
because there's no blood for you, in the blood bank empty. You know what I mean? They're not
Blood
for
bank
you.
empty,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they couldn't find any. I don't know if everybody knows, but even though, like, you find, let's say, O positive blood and you are O positive, you still have to go through something called blood mapping, which means that that O positive blood has to be
uh-huh.
accepted by your body.
I heard that.
We're not finding any of them that would be accepted by my body, even though there was a shortage. They found a couple and they still weren't able to match it to my body.
you know, and I will say that just as you, I'm a believer of God, and that's and the way that he made you special,
Yeah,
right? He didn't want you with human blood. He wanted to just prove his existence, and he wanted to just prove his miracle, which he did, honestly speaking, and
yeah.
with no outside interference like transfusion with blood and things like that. Because, as you rightly said, that mass, I don't know how much in how to say it. What's the word to use? What well, is that word name I didn't try to pronounce. I've been honest with you.
Hemangioma.
Right. You had that part of that. But yeah. But how much people in what's the percentage of people developing that? Did they give you a percentage? Like
Um,
one in every
it's pretty prevalent in the Caribbean and
okay.
amongst women, but
Okay.
women of a particular age group. I did not belong to that age group whatsoever. He had told me that this is Professor Shamir Kowich. He would have told me that he was accustomed to dealing with persons who were maybe like 70 and above, right?
Oh. Mm.
Um, there was one person before me at the point in time who was an outlier. I believe she was in her 40s at the point in time, and she was the youngest. So then when I came in there and I was like, what, 31, 32 at the point in time,
Mm.
he was like, I am not accustomed to dealing with women of your age group at all. Yeah.
Mm. But well, you're young, this thing, super fit, and
Yeah.
it's like you're saying, but one could say why me, this and that, but when I heard the news, from the initial get go,
Mhm.
did it send you in a kind of like depressed kind of like mood, and saying like, why I have to get, why me and this and that.
I was shocked, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little scared knowing that I was on the road Monday and Tuesday. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
my uncle told me after when he found out, he said, "But girl, somebody could have just bumped into you, and as simple as that, you could have been gone." I
Yeah.
said, "Yeah." When my doctor found out that I was on the road carnival Monday and Tuesday, he literally took a step back, sighed, closed the file, and hit me with the file on my head. He's like, "Why were you there?"
Well, use a training, not training to wear things, I guess. You know what I mean?
I mean, I didn't know.
No, but I
I
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
I didn't know, and it
I
can,
didn't know.
it, you
But
know.
I was scared at the point in time, and all I could think about was getting the surgery done.
Okay. And then to top it off, they would have told you that if it bursts, it's fatality. That's it.
Yes,
And
yes,
then when they went in, they realized, well, I don't want to tell you this, but it burst, and look, you're still
mhm,
here. So it's like,
yes. So they had to come back out and do open surgery,
yes, yes,
mhm, which was a lot harder to recover from
yes, yes,
after.
and
Yes,
get
the
and get.
open surgery is like straight down the torso and to the side to be able to get to the organ where it was.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And that surgery was how long, like the operation,
Oh,
approximately?
I cannot remember how long. I believe they said it may have been about 6 to 7 hours initially, but it
Wow.
ended up being less. It
Okay.
ended up being about 5 hours, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check that back, but yeah,
And then the recovery would have been it would have been a process.
that recovery was a process.
Hmm.
But you know what? Uh, because I was in a lot of pain. I'm not going to lie to you. That was the kind of pain that would make you lie on a bed and just be shivering because you just can't do anything else. I was throwing up a lot because that's my body's pain response. Um, and it was constant pain. Like I used to wake up in the middle of the night, 3 hours of the morning, just screaming out in pain because, open surgery, as I said, with that size of a cut was a lot. And then there's not only the outside healing, but the organ itself, which 50% of my liver was taken off, that is
Hmm.
also healing on the inside. So it was supposed to be a 6 week process for healing. And I was being a big baby about it, according to my doctor. And I went back and I begged him and I said, "Doc, can I just get some extra time off of work?" And he looked at me and he was like, "You are young, you are strong, and I need you to get back into normal activity. I need your body to get back moving once again."
Hmm.
I am there thinking, but this man don't know how much pain I in. How is he going to put me back on? But
Yeah.
I saw the benefit in it when I started the process. I literally used to go to work day after day, hunched over like this. I used to have to walk hunched over for a
Hmm.
long time. And then little by little, I straightened up a little more and a little more. And then I was like, you know what? Getting my body back into motion is helping it to heal. It's helping the pain to be less. It's helping me to feel better being outside and, being back in normal life, so it really helped to jump back in.
So the mere fact that what the doctor said that, if it wasn't for your physical fitness prior to that, the chances are would have been even lesser because of your the
Yeah.
your body might have recuperate fast as well. It did, and probably the withstand that type of surgery. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it is a good thing. So you will say, obviously, it's a good thing that you were going down the road of your mother and father, in the sense of
Of
exercising and
course.
keeping fit, and that's good. You actually are the second person that came on this podcast and did major surgery, and doctors told them similar for what you told me there, and it just goes to show that you know being active, exercising or whatever it is. It isn't necessary, as I said, I don't promote gym. Gym is not the only form of the way to get fit or healthy. There's just one, avenue. I'm a gymmer and it's fine. But I don't promote gym. I promote wellness, as you know, right?
Yes.
You can do it home as you can do it wherever you choose to. And
Yes.
so, how long after the surgery did you started back like exercising and like?
That took a while. And I started back by doing walks on an evening. I
Mhm.
had made friends with one of the other ladies who had her surgery on the same day. Um, and she was able to have hers done laparoscopically. So her healing process was really quick. And we kept in contact. And then she was like, hey, Dr. Cowage said that we need to, or Professor Cowage was like saying that we need to get back into activity and stuff. And I'm there like, okay. So we started meeting up and going around Eddie Hart.
Yeah,
Um, Probably, let's see, that would have been 2.5 months after the surgery.
yeah.
Because I needed to make sure that my scars were fully healed and everything like that. And I could have gone back into exercising. So we started off with very slow walks and we used to talk while we walk in and stuff like that, and built our way up to a faster paced walk, a little jog part of the way. And then maybe about a month after that, I started back with, just doing a couple squats at home and then pick up the weights while doing the squat and then maybe do a little something for the arms. And I worked my way back into doing a full routine
So,
eventually.
well, that's good. I mean, so I guess based on what the doctor told you then about your physical fitness prior to the operation, now
Hmm.
it looked like you weren't stopping at all because it saved your life actually. you
Yeah,
know, and it just goes to show that, exercising and keeping fit as much as someone can, it actually puts you in a better position for whatever comes down the road.
yeah.
And you actually, as a living testimony of someone who would have, what I say, was in the hands of the lion mouth, and
Yeah.
you jump back out,
Jump back.
and yeah, because because all the odds was against you, apart from
Mhm.
God, right? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what was against you, but God was with you, and you had reasons to there was a purpose that wasn't fulfilled, I guess, because people, is going surgery less technical as that and doesn't come out of it. I know
That's
that. I know people who went in surgery, not for even that severe surgery, because that's dealing with the liver and rupture already. Because I had an uncle who actually died from a what is called, appendix, and
it.
he was getting pain, and he called his wife away, and girl again is pain, and but I think it's gas, and the usual Trini, and
Yeah.
he drink, usually he played on, well, maybe I'll check it out tomorrow, and by the time he decided to go and check it out, it is actually ruptured, and he didn't make it,
Oh,
you
sorry
know.
to hear.
Yeah, it's all right. But when a doctor say to you or anybody that, hey, if this rupture, chances are you may not make it, and it did rupture. I mean, it's only God could answer that question, or
Mhm.
he had his hand in that, because, I mean, the doctors would have known based on the medical expertise that when things like that go, rupture or whatever, is whatever it does to your body, especially where it was, is not going to lead to anything good.
Of course. And then the
So,
amount of blood that comes by the liver, I think it's like 1.3 liters per minute
okay.
that comes through your liver.
Yeah.
I didn't know that before.
Well, I didn't know that. I
There's
know that
a
now. So,
large blood supply that goes through your liver every minute, every hour, So it wasn't even a chance as to if it might be fatal. They told me that it would be.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
common sense could say, I mean, we not a medical professional, but we know what the liver, well, similar things that the liver do. I mean, they wouldn't say that if it will have like 98, 99% truth in it, yeah?
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's a purpose, that you need to fulfill apparently, you know,
So,
and yes, there is a purpose that you need to fulfill, and I pray that you find what that purpose is
yeah,
and execute it, because it's not your time to go home anytime soon, and we have to see those cool little hair. We want to see it gray, all of it gray, if you choose to keep it.
yes,
So yeah,
yes,
yeah, I want to see that. I want to see that in the next 40 years from now. We'll be
yes.
having we'll be
Saying
having
that.
the next
That's
podcast,
me.
and we will talk about the first podcast, which is this one, in the next
Yeah,
40 years, and you should be, doing the exercise the same way and
of course.
keeping yourself healthy. And one of the things like even today I posted a video and I'm saying that, take a chance on yourself, encouraging people to take a chance on themselves today,
Yeah,
because it puts you in a better position for anything comes down the road, because something is always pop up,
yeah,
something will come and it's fine. If it comes, it comes. We don't have control of that. But if we put yourself in a position where your body can fight, give it put us in a better position than just do nothing,
yeah,
And I would have went I think a symposium, and it goes to so much symposium, and basically the speakers, apart from me speaking sometimes, but the speakers in them is always say the same thing, which is give yourself a chance, just change something today, and
yeah,
most people, um I don't say it's easy, Renee, but is I still find the answer to tell people how they can, what to do again to say for them to take a chance on themselves. I'm not going to stop, but up to just before this podcast, a coworker of mine called me and she like, Vic, she actually up Bonks and Benedict when before I get dark, and which I didn't know. She told me, well, she diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and you know and I told her, I said, well, you have to change your diet, and to wean off the pillar, you know. And she's not an old person, and she agreed that she's eating the nice and she's a lot of flour, the usual. I,
yeah,
I I'm not wasting flour down, but that's a contributor amongst other stuff, right? And you meet people up every day, and didn't have that hurdle like yours, because yours is a big hurdle, I can tell you that. And
yeah,
they still to understand how important life is,
yeah,
and they rather wait till they have a like, well, it's either this or else, and most of the time they're still unwilling to make the drastic change. And at that time, when your body not equipped to fight off not just disease, but major surgery like what you went through, you
hmm,
know you die not just from the operation, but your body not able to withstand whatever procedure that was done,
yeah,
you know. And the next person I was telling you about who came on this podcast, she actually had cancer, and she had to do a surgery, and the doctor would have told her that first time he saw some it's an operation like that, and based on her body inside, when he opened up and did whatever was done, he's like, the recovery was based on the condition that her body was in, based on the exercise she's been doing for years, and whatever the case may be. It didn't stop her from getting cancer, but at least they would have taken out the tumor. And up to this day, I mean, is someone I talk to regular, and she's okay until she opened a business. She's a self entrepreneur and she doing stuff. She support me. What is she doing? And she's normal. I mean, you had to follow up and do your checks and things like that. But
What?
she's no, she's normal. So once I said that, do you have to go and take checks ever so often, like once a year, twice a year, whatever?
So I have always been a firm believer in taking care of your health and, let's not bury our heads in the sand and just turn a blind eye to something that could be going on. So yes, I do regular checks, but I'm not required to any longer. My doctor told me, yeah, I'm kicking you out of my care because you don't need this anymore.
That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
he would have
I'm glad
told
to
me
hear
that in 2023 that
that. Nice.
I'm no longer under his watchful eye, as in having to do liver function tests or anything like that. I do still do my own checks and check in with him because one thing that will be for life is that I will have to check in with him about certain medications that are processed by the liver so that he can say whether or not it's safe enough or if it will put my liver under too much stress. But he was satisfied enough with the lifestyle that I live, the way that I eat, um, the fact that I practice moderation in all things. Um, and yes, I'm still allowed to have alcohol every so often, you know, social drinker. Uh, but in all things, just don't overdo, and I will not have to go under his care anymore.
That's nice. That's nice. So you can maintain your moderation Trini lifestyle.
I
Yeah.
mean,
No, that's good. But that's good news. But that's good news already. I mean,
yeah.
the doctor, that's really good news. Doctor telling you, girl, here going on. Leave me alone now. You're all right.
Yeah, he
Left.
said, "You don't need me anymore."
But that's good though. And that news might have been really good for your ear to hear, right?
Yes, yes. I was really, really happy to hear that because, of course, when you go through something major like that, you look down the road and it's daunting sometimes to think, well, oh my goodness, I'm always going to have to be in and out of the hospital. Am I always going to have to be checking in with a doctor before I do anything? Is my life going to change drastically? Um, I was always a healthy eater, as I said, so it didn't change much. I did work with a trainer at one point just to, get a handle on some easy meal choices and stuff that will fall into my macros that I should have daily, what portion of my diet should be proteins and fats and healthy carbs and things like that. And for me, it's pretty easy to maintain, you know?
Well, you custom eating, I mean, for you who always on that track, sort of,
Yeah.
it's easy. But but for most people, it hard, right? I've been told. I've been told.
I guess. I mean, I weigh the pros and cons and everything in life. Yes, the KFC tastes nice. The Burger King and all these other things, they're very yummy. I love them too. I love pizza, but you're not gonna find me eating it every week because I know it's not good for me. I'm going to have it every so often. I don't deprive myself of anything.
Okay.
Because I also believe, as I said, in moderation because I don't want to stress myself out. Oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to eat this and I can't eat that. And, you know, I want to live still, and live a full life. And for
Yes.
me, living a full life is experiencing things the way that I want to, when I want to, you know? So I would have these things I'm not going to lie to you. I do try myself for a good burger every so often. But
Uh,
as I said, everything in moderation. I'm not going to have it every single week.
well, that's good, and and people need to hear this because even eating in moderation or everything in moderation, I think we are a culture of slouching or gouging, whichever word song right or whichever one it is. We're
Yeah.
coming to food because I think most of us here, our culture is eat till you're full and eat till you plate empty, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that your body need that amount at that point in time, right?
Yeah.
So when I said that it's hard for most people based on me meeting a lot of people and trying to tell them what you told me just now about eating in moderation and portion size and things like that. So there's
Right.
like first thing discover more like think that difficult because this and that, and that's what I told you. I'm not saying that's easy, all right.
Yeah.
It's challenging when you're accustomed for 20 years, 10 years, whatever it is,
To
eating
break
up
a habit.
to break a habit. Repetition sometimes, most of the time, is not easy to break unless it's you're back against the wall. But
Mhm.
but I like how you approach it because um, eating up, and I said this, eating a pizza slice or two or three or whatever from time to time is not a problem. I guess the kernel. That's what it's called, the kernel. Now, I know you
Once in a while.
once in a while. I guess it's and one of the things people need to understand when they're listening to you and people like yourself is that you know anything in moderation is okay, even alcohol, a glass of wine, a cocktail, whatever, because you're not going
Mhm.
to be eating KFC every day or what is this, pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change because that you're on with your health and your wellness. For me, I talk like that to people. I mean, I do eat a lot of things, but as for me, that's my choice.
Right.
And I know it when I started, it's not it wasn't easy, but I really wanted to change, the way that I live when it comes to nutrition.
Yeah.
And I did some, for me, I did some research based on like fasting, the benefits of fasting,
Mhm.
and the benefit of eating one meal, the pros and the cons. And it have pros and cons, trust me. Yeah. And
So I could do that one.
you know, but I also know when you cut on your portion size, your body get accustomed eating less after a period of time. The amount you used to eat before that, you tell yourself that this amount to be full.
Yeah.
After a while, when you start eating a smaller amount, you find you're full with even quarter of the whole mountain you see before. You
Yeah.
know, so that's what I say. I give people advice, and I don't give them my lifestyle because that's just
Mhm.
my lifestyle. Because it may not work for everybody, you know.
Very.
And one meal a day is hard for most people, you
I am
know.
not asking anybody to do that.
And and I don't say that to anybody. That's just me. And
Yeah.
I actually like it. It doesn't take away the fact that if just as you mentioned, if I go hanging wherever and I'm somewhere and have something that I just eat at 8 o'clock or whatever in the night, it's fine. But
Mhm.
that's once in a while,
Yeah.
and
It's not the norm.
no, that doesn't affect you no way at all. The way that you're doing it is fine, and the way of most people who do it like you is fine. It's not what it's how we do what you do that's make the difference or have a negative impact on you. And judging from what I see there, you in shape, man. Yeah, I see you in shape there. People who looking at you without knowing your story would not believe that you went through that
Yeah.
amount of that mountain of challenge. It is a mountain because I know that particular organ. That's actually one of the vital ones. You
It is.
know, yeah. There's a one or two vital ones that you don't play with, and that's one you don't play with. So, as I
Yeah.
said before, you came out. victorious on that one for a reason. I hope that you find out what was the reason that you came out.
Or later, I
Yeah,
will.
yeah. What I think on this journey here, I mean, you don't hear you're talking your story and you give thanks to the person who you need to give thanks to, and that's probably part of it. And
Agree.
it will help someone. It will help someone who probably going through something like that or something worse than that. I don't know, but just knowing that somebody came out of something major, to be able to talk on a platform and smile and give that positive energy that you're giving here tonight, that by itself is a blessing to someone, because each and every day somebody going through something, and the only thing sometimes they have in front of them is a screen to listen to something motivating. And actually they can everybody who going through something right now, whether in the hospital or whether they're home, stories like this could only inspire them to fight.
I would say
And yeah, and they will, because that's giving somebody a belief that doesn't matter what doctor says. And the only time I heard stories that what I believe that is God hands involved is on, so let's say, on social media, not in Trinidad. And
mhm.
people give thanks and doctors write them off and say, well, they had 3 months to live, 2 months to live, and 20 years after they're giving the story, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that's and doctors say, you know what, they write them off and they're here today. So
Mhm.
good as they are, doctor, I always say this, the doctor have their purpose, and I would never bash them or belittle them. But at the end of the day, they are not the final healer, and they often have been proven wrong outside of their expertise. One is beyond what they believe that they can do, and that's where the ultimate healer is coming. Providing, provided, provided you believe, and he has he have his hands on you. So when adversity and challenges comes our way as people, is always to get us somewhere or show us something that we wasn't seeing. And in your case, uh, a lot of people doesn't get a second chance to realize that it was a hand of God, and there's something greater than you know where they are. There's a greater purpose for them. Some people feel it's luck and it's going, huh, but that wasn't luck. And you 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 have something in you that you know is bigger than.
Great. Right.
Yeah.
At the point in time, I was also a young mom too. So, looking at that daunting situation and thinking that there might be a possibility that I may not be around for my son was huge for me. Uh,
Yeah.
I had to make up my mind to fight. And luckily, I was in a position to be able to fight with where my body was at. You know, I had some extra help. So,
Yeah, well, your body had the extra help, which is good. But you
mm,
had some spiritual help based
of course,
on what
I
you know
prayed.
mentioned there.
And I know I had a lot of people praying for me as well,
Of That's
praying
nice.
to go through.
And then and you had genuine people praying for you, because you know the Lord said that that's too much prayers coming up there. Let's check and see who this person is, what this prayers coming for.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I have a plan for her. Yeah.
yes.
You
Grateful
know,
to God for that.
yeah. And it's not, I often say this, Chantel, is that even me, and I've been through a lot. I tell people this, right? For those who, you know, I feel that I need to, you know, explain some things to. It's like, it's not how you die, that matters in this world. It's how you live, right? And if you live in a particular way, and I've proven this already in my life of, people coming to your aid when you're down and out or something happen. It just pays to say, it's always pays to live good. And whilst we look around and it appears that evil and wrongdoers seem to be getting ahead in this world, it still pays not to be one of those. And good God reward his people at the right time. Although it looks now, when it look left and look right, evil. And someone told me that recently. Somebody I actually doing therapy with, helping someone, and she's like, Vic, look what happened to me, and I do so much good. And I believe that evil on this earth, evil seem to be getting away. And you could say that when you watch the news, when you know people who doing a million one wrong and they blossom and prospering, and then the good, you or me or anybody like us who trying to do the right thing, bad things happening to us. You know what I mean? And it's only faith and believing. You know what? All the prophet, and I told her this, right? All the prophet that we prayed, well, we read in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, John, Moses, all these people and them. We read about them today because they didn't have it easy.
Yeah.
And not all of which was not murderer, who went through this, who lost everything. And what kept them to receive the blessing and the miracle is faith.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it seemed the darkest and we're going through some might call it fire and flame and whatever it is on this
So,
earth, the storm, yeah. There is a lesson whilst you're going through the storm,
yeah.
and you just to come out of it and say, what, look back and say, oh, that's what he wanted us to learn. You got it
Yeah.
now. Because sometimes we hadn't, really.
Yeah.
Sometimes we hadn't, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, things go.
Human nature is human nature.
Yeah, and
You
it
have
is
to be
good.
willing to receive the lesson and everything, And even with my situation, I have tried not to look at it as why me or, I think I was used by God um, as someone who might be able to, as I'm doing now, tell the story and encourage others, especially women, to try to take care of their physical and mental health in order to put them in a good position to care for others. You know what I mean? As I told you before, I had never told my story on any social media platform because I always believed that God will guide me to where I am supposed to do it, and I think, and when. So it's apparent that now is the time. And I want to thank you for giving me the platform to be able to do so. And I'm hoping and praying that it would be able to inspire some others, even if it is to take a walk a couple times a week, just get your body moving and, you know, think that you are important because you are. To
Oh,
take care of your physical and mental health.
that is so powerful, and it's so true what you said. And going back to when you said that, which I also believe that, there's a time for everything, and God do guide us to the right places, time, and people. And
Always.
and you sharing your story now, um, is I only can believe that it was meant to be now, and it was meant to be here with me, based on how we end up being here,
Yeah.
right? And also your story, once you said it here, I believe is your story could reach more people, not just here, but I think in your timing, once the time is right, I think given the opportunity, women in particularly, it's for everybody, but women in particularly who tend to put in everybody in front of them,
Yeah.
and I say that because it's true, even me as a man, right? And the symposium I went, what it was I mentioned to you, it was all is for the woman based on International Women Day. That was what it was, and it was about health and wellness, and that speakers there, and your story that mentioned there, I knew that resonated with all these women there, and I think that going forward, I just be all over the place, all kind of symposium. Some must be my own. And
Okay.
I tell you up front, you know, I'll be coming at you
Oh
to
my.
give, yeah, once you had the time, even if you just come in and telling your story for like 10 minutes and leave, because, what I do, I always say that if I can save one person out of 20, based
Mhm.
on I give my story, I give the reason why people should change their life, and it resonates with one person out of 20, I'm
Yeah.
okay. I'm okay, right? Because at least I saved someone, right? Because there's a flip side to that. So your story, I think, is not just to be, aired tonight or be stored on YouTube. I think your story could have more impact, greater impact in places that have a lot of people who just try to catch that carrot of life. And
Yeah.
I found that everybody who running life down, at one point in time, including myself, we miss the opportunity to really live life,
Mhm.
because women, as I said, they tend to put, and I believe what I'm saying, and I didn't say it just because it's you, I've said it before, all right? They put their husband, their children, their job, they put everybody in front of them, right? And then to realize that, and then the health, they put the health in the equation of importance, and guess what? You as a next friend told me last year, is that she's like, you know, husband is leave, children is
Yeah.
get big, she made that change, right? And I don't know why she told me that, because I thought she life going good, but nevertheless, is a very good friend of mine, and she's like, she said husband is leave, like, children get big, and when you look at it, it's just you alone. Not saying that you're planning for your husband to leave, but it's a reality, you
Yeah.
know, right? And it could be it could be a wife's leave, it could be anything. But you know, I also tend to say on platforms that the one thing I've recognized we don't do now in life, most people, I know I mentioned to you, but the females, and it's true, but we tend to put everything else as important except ourselves, you
Yeah.
know. And I don't know if it's because, yes, a good parent, man or woman, will always try to provide and should provide for their children or kid or whatever, but not at the detriment of yourself, right? And something I say to people, Renee, is that the best gift you can give to your children or child, which you can resonate to based on what you said tonight, is you being healthy,
Yeah.
live long. We say we will, I will die for my children. We just use that randomly, but try living for them. That's
Yeah.
something I would say. Let's live for our children. Let's live for ourselves. The best gift you can give yourself is health, nothing else.
True. That's
You
true.
know?
I
So,
can't think of anybody that can take care of my little one like me. Like
and
down for
yeah.
many years to come.
Yes.
So
And
yeah,
that was the reason for you to fight
it
against
was.
the devil and say, nope, not today.
Not
You
today,
know?
Satan.
Yeah, not today. And you won that battle.
Charge, yeah.
You won that battle. And you're right. There shouldn't be nobody else. And there are nobody else could take care of your child or anyone child, a good parent than
Yeah.
them. Whoever it is, Lord forbid if something happens, which is happening every day in this world, a parent, unfortunately leaving this earth. And the substitute will always try to step up, but nobody can never be that parent. And especially a mother's love is unconditional. I ain't saying a father's and as a man, right? I say
Well, yeah, but something special about mommy, man.
they are. I was a mother's boy, so I say that, but it's true. But but
Yeah.
it's true, and there's not no. It's true. I think it's been proven all over. Whereby you're more nurturing than male. And that's fine. The Lord made us different, and that's one of our superpower. Not the superpower, but it's one of our superpowers.
Yeah.
And I do appreciate when I say this. People's like, I do appreciate women because I was appreciative, and as a mother. Not only that, when my son born, I actually went to see the process from start to finish, and I stomach it. Some men say they can't stomach it, but I did stomach it because I wanted to see, and I think I had more appreciation for women
If you
based.
appreciate women more, right?
Yes, 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 I did. I put up my hand and say, yeah, I did. Because I think unless you do that, you know, some men need to know it's really growing up is here, a foot in the grave. What they say? This is say,
One foot in, one foot out the grave. Yeah.
right? And I actually saw it's really that in truth, and I think if I had my way, all men, good dad, bad dad, you know, should experience that at least once in their life. I think they would appreciate their person more if they go through that. It's beyond the initial conception of getting a woman pregnant. That's like ABC,
Yeah.
But I think when they really go and have that experience from contraction to the whole process, I
It's
think they
baby, baby. Whether it's natural or C-section or
it don't
whatever,
it don't
it,
matter. Yeah, yeah.
it's a
It's
tough
it
process.
it, it,
So
it is
to
a
think
tough.
about, bringing this little life into the world and having anything take you away from that, God forbid, it's not a nice thought.
It's not. It's
It's
no.
thing to be in that position. So yeah,
It's
that
not.
that was one of my motivators at the point in time as well.
Well, you are a fighter clearly, and the Lord put an extra something in that womb of your mother when he was in the womb. He put something extra inside it because he
Thank you for that.
he, he, he took out something to put in something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So Rene, I mean, we have this. This is just the initial. With us, we have other stuff to do, as you know,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
We have magazine. People really gonna be on our magazine. I have a lot of supporters who I know, and they always look forward to the magazine. Really gonna be there in all her glory and her story, right? And also, you
Telling
know,
that.
Rene Kagere for me because all the events that I have coming up. Um, Rene's story, I think, is I would like for her to. I mean, it's not podcast talk, but saying it here, but it's fine. You know, because I tend to keep it real and non scripted as you know, and
Yeah.
we're doing pretty well. And look at we talked for an hour already. See how fast it is go.
Oh, wow. I didn't even
Yeah,
realize time passed.
yeah. That's the beauty when you're having fun. You know.
Yeah.
So Rene, I know you have small man to go and deal with.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep you too long. I want to thank you for coming. I want to thank you for making the time. I want to thank you for choosing me to air your first story of your life
Yeah.
and your challenges, and you overcome that big hurdle, and it'll just be. I hope it's not the end of the opportunity to hear you speak your story. And I hope I'll be in the audience to hear it 4 and 5 times. And someone
Oh,
could, yeah, 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and somebody could stand up and say, a female could stand up and say, thank you, Rene. You helped me because I'm dealing with this right now, and your story helped me. And I'm pretty sure that won't happen the way that, the places I've gone and the people I've seen cry and suffer and explain things that they're going through. I mean, as a woman, I think your story really will help people. And unless you hide from me physically and turn your and delete my number and block me, you're not
oh
gonna
God.
get it. I will want you to tell your story and really help people because I think part of your purpose is to really reach out to the people who don't have hope and faith, and and to tell them, what, with God anything is possible. And you're a living testimony of that. So thank you again, Rene. Have a blessed night, a good
Well,
weekend,
and
and
thank you.
definitely we're going to keep in touch. And stay safe and God bless. Yeah?
Thank you. God, you too.
Yes.